The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
I'm gonna tell y'all what Jaden going. We'll keep it interesting there. If you want to do all that, I'm gonna say where he going. And y'all never gonna believe it.
Wow.
He might be part of the old homie.
Wow. That's what you want to do?
Raider Nation, as you guys just saw, LSU wide receiver Malik Nabers was on Instagram Live with Jaden Daniels and hinted that the quarterback could be reuniting with an old friend in Las Vegas. It's unclear. You know, I saw JPA Football posted that it could be Brandon Ayuk, but I don't see how that would happen considering we have Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers, so we're not going to be adding Brandon Ayuk. So that could be some clickbait from JPA Football, the guy who posted this out. But nonetheless, you know, Jaden Daniels reuniting with an old friend potentially means Antonio Pierce. That's what we think on this channel. I think that's what most of you guys would probably assume as well. Now, I'm not going to lie, this was said in a playful and joking tone and manner. So I think it has to be taken with a grain of salt. But I do think it's significant for two reasons. Number one being, I think it's, you know, further evidence that Jaden Daniels wants to be a Las Vegas Raider. You know, we've seen him in the past talk about Antonio Pierce and how it would be a dream to play for him. I think it was Josina Anderson who said, you know, how would you feel if Antonio Pierce moved up for you in the draft? And he said, that's the dream scenario. And so that just adds smoke to the fire. He was in our locker room after we beat the Broncos. So he has that connection to Antonio Pierce. We've already known that, but I think this is further evidence because when you look at it, these guys are two college teammates, and I'm sure they talk about the stuff behind closed doors. You know, I'm sure Nabers had asked him, where do you want to go? And he's probably said, I want to go to the Raiders and reunite with Antonio Pierce. So that's just further fuel to that fire. And I think, you know, we want him and he wants to be a Raider. But the only problem with that, and this is number two, I don't think it's going to happen. And when you look at this video, I think if it was going to happen, this would be under wraps. If Telesco and Antonio Pierce had communicated with Daniels and said, we're looking into trading up for you, I don't think they'd go on Instagram Live and say, I want to reunite with my old friend. They'd keep it under wraps. They wouldn't talk about it because that's not how business is done in the NFL. Everything is done under closed doors. You know, it's not broadcasted on Instagram Live unless you're trying to throw out rumors or throw out your name out there on the Twitter realm or whatever the case may be. So I don't know, you know, the fact that he's going out on Instagram Live with Malik Nabers, I don't think it's a good sign in terms of the likelihood that we're trading up. You know, there's been some rumors today about Mark Davis giving Telesco permission to trade up, but look, it's all smoke screens right now. It's tough to really say. And I think, you know, we've been seeing other things about Colin Coward said that at number 2, the commander is going to be taking Daniels. So it's a lot of smoke screens right now, but I think there's a very slim chance that we get Jaden Daniels. It's not dead yet because the pick isn't in. We're going to have a chance until draft day. But the problem with it is as we get closer to the draft, every single day the draft approaches, the asking price for Jaden Daniels gets steeper and steeper. You know, I saw at number 4, the Cardinals were asking 3 first-round picks. And as we get closer to the draft, that's only going to go up and up in price. So if the Raiders really want to make a move for Daniels, it's got to happen now. You got to trade a number 3 or number 4 as soon as possible. And so that's the only issue with this. Look, we already know he wants to be a Raider and we want him to be a Raider. But as I mentioned before, there's other things at play there. You have to have a trade partner and you have to be willing to give up that draft capital. And, you know, those two things, it's out of your control to a degree. So it's going to be really interesting, Raider Nation, whether we go up for a guy like Jaden Daniels, whether we sit at 13, take a lineman or a corner, or even Michael Penix. It's going to be extremely interesting to see what we do, Raider Nation. And Silver and Black Attack is going to have you guys covered. All things draft, all things free agency. And yeah, we're really trying to grow this channel and reach as many people as possible. me and Rashawn are really passionate about the Raiders. It's our number one, love in this life is watching Raider football. And we want to share that with as many of you guys as possible. And yeah, 4 things: like, subscribe, comment down below, and share with your friends. Those things go a mile for us, Raider Nation. And we couldn't be more appreciative of all the recent support on our videos. And yeah, whether it's constructive criticism or whether it's your thoughts on the video, don't hesitate. Leave it all down below in the comments. But yeah, for now, Raider Nation, Jahan signing off. Thank you guys so much.